As you can tell by the title of this video, I am looking at buying actually, I'm not looking at buying, I bought a Cadillac. It is in rough shape. It runs and drives. Engine and transmission are good. As you can see from these pictures, somebody messed up. So we're going to strip the engine and transmission out of this, sell as much as we can out of it. Transfer case, all that should still be good. Front differential, stuff that's worth some money I can dump off. Not everything is worth really a whole lot. It's a 2002 Cadillac Escalade EXT, I believe it is. It's got the 6.0 liter and then the 4L65 transmission. I would have probably liked to have had the 4L80, but I mean, the deal come through for this Cadillac that was pretty good for an engine trans, and then I can make up some of that money with selling some of the stuff off of it. So, but yeah, so we're going to get into a build series on this Cadillac here, and then I haven't decided, am I going to go cheap and get it done, or am I going to spend the money and get all the functionality out of the Jeep, like a factory Jeep with the RPM kit. RPM Extremes kit is not that pricey for a Gen 3, which is why I kind of was looking at Gen 3s. I can go with the Holley Terminator X Max kit. It doesn't matter if it's a Gen 3 or Gen 4, the kit still is roughly the same price. But at that point, I don't have any kind of display gauges or anything like that. The RPM kit does. I've found a few different options as far as doing displays. Holley is up there in price. You're looking at close to $3,000 by the time you buy a nice digital display. And the standalone kit, RPM Extreme, is over $3,000, about $3,300 but it uses all factory gauges. It integrates into the factory system, so it looks the cleanest. I can do a standalone harness off of like an eBay or companies that offer standalone harness kits, and then buy individual gauges to put into the cluster. There is a company that I found that is one gauge. They offer a 7-inch LCD screen that I can incorporate into my gauge cluster dash. That looks like a pretty neat little setup. It's a small shop company. I'd love to be able to help them out. So I might lean towards that way, because that route would be by far the cheapest. So yeah, so I'm not sure. I haven't decided. We still got to pull the engine and transmission out of this thing, which is going to be a chore by the looks of it. You've seen in the photos, the front end is kind of leaned up a little bit. Somebody went ditch jumping. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Should I go bare bones, just get a wiring harness and a ECU unlock, and then make it super simple and go as cheap as possible, or go with the RPM Extreme kit and have it just like factory? I mean, all ways I go, I will still have air conditioning, I'll still have power windows. Everything that functions as a Jeep will function as a Jeep, other than the dash, the gauge cluster. So that's why I'm looking at external monitors and things like that. So yeah, what would you do? You have a 6.0 LS. Actually, it's not really an LS, but it's an LS. Everybody calls them LS still, so that's what we're going to go with. Would you keep it minimum? Would you keep your costs down, or would you go ahead and just get it installed and running? I don't plan on doing any kind of tuning to it, so I don't know if the Holley kit is really worth the hassle or worth the extra money. There is a company called Aces EFI. Probably going to reach out to them, see what we could do to work with them, and their kit is pretty solid looking as well. It's a nice standalone harness kit, and it has a 5-inch screen that comes with their kit. They offer a 7-inch screen, which adds an additional $500 in cost, but it's still all around cheaper than the Holley. So then the question is, do you stick with Holley because Holley is tried and true? They've been around forever. Do you go with a company like Aces that's fairly new, but it is supported by companies like Summit and Jegs and the big companies? Or do you do just standalone and reprogram the ECU to work? I mean, I have the engine, the trans, the harness, the ECU, everything from this Cadillac, so I don't need anything other than deleted the VATs and the O2 sensors, and then everything should work together, right? So I could technically do a eBay harness standalone and send out the ECU to have it flash for like less than $100, and then put everything back in and it'll fire up and run and all that. So there's so many options here. I'm a super indecisive person. Just ask my wife, she'll tell you. So I don't know. I don't know what to do here. So I'm reaching out to YouTube here and saying, hey, where should I spend my money? Should I save my money and then spend my money into building the engine up a little bit, or spend all my money just to get the engine to run? I don't know. What do you think? Let me know. See you guys.